What's up, friends? Welcome back to another video. Welcome if you're new here, and welcome if you're a returning subscriber. This is my channel, Pucks and Paperbacks, where I recommend LGBTQ plus books and I take YouTube trends and make them bookish. So today I will be reading YouTubers' books. I watch a lot of YouTube. I've been watching it since the day that YouTube was invented. I've been watching it. So I am a YouTube stan, you could say. So I've been wanting to do this video for a while because I do have a lot of YouTube books, but I've never actually read them besides Connor Franta's books. And I will be doing a reading vlog for his newest book, House Fires. So if you would like to see a video like that and you're not subscribed, hit subscribe and turn on my post notifications so you don't miss a video. His book, Note to Self, is one of my favorites, so I'm very excited to read that book. This year I made a reading vlog where I read books that were recommended by my favorite YouTubers, including Jarvis Johnson, Curtis Connor, and Connor Franta. Also Corey LeBerry, who is a creator who passed away, who I really enjoyed. I was really glad I was able to find his book recommendation for that video. So if you would like to watch that video, it'll be at the end of the video on my end screen. Comment down below one of your favorite YouTubers who is not a booktuber. I would love to see who everyone watches aside from BookTube. I'm just always interested in that. I want to see if maybe we watch the same channels or I can find a new channel to watch. So my first read is going to be Jen's book, Really Professional Internet Person. Oh my god. Oh my god, this book, I have literally not opened this book since I got it in the mail. And this is actually, I think, the show she was on. It's Bad Night. Look at that. Wow. And this book actually won. I don't even know how. Like, I honestly don't know. It came in the mail one day and I was like, okay. This is Really Professional Internet Person by Jen McAllister, or Jen X Pen. So I've been watching Jen since she made her first video, since my collab. Give this video a thumbs up if you know my collab. Hey person I can't see, I'm Jen McAllister. I'm used to talking to people I can't see because I've been making and posting videos on YouTube for almost 7 years. Same. Actually for 7 years, so same. Off the bat, the first sentence was a little cringe, but this was also written in 2015, so I'll give it that. But I am liking what I'm learning. It's very nostalgic. Specifically, there are parts where she has like top 10 tips for things. I believe that's because she had a series on Awesomeness TV where she would give top 10 tips for things. There's top 10 things middle schoolers worry about that they shouldn't. So this is definitely targeted at her audience of young kids. Then we have top 10 ways to waste your time on the internet, and she mentioned Stumble Upon. I'm not sure if anyone remembers it, but I was always on Stumble Upon and Daily Booth, which was like the OG Instagram. And so comment down below if you remember Stumble Upon or Daily Booth. I would love to know. I don't know anyone who remembers Daily Booth, and it just feels like a figment of my imagination, but I know it's true. But I have a video where they would put all of your pictures together from the year and it would be like a stop motion kind of thing. For those who don't know what Stumble Upon is, it was like the Google I'm Feeling Lucky, where you would go on to stumbleupon.com, RIP, it's not alive anymore. I checked because I wanted to see and it's not there anymore. But you would basically just hit a button and they would take you to like a random page, or you could curate it for topics. In 9th grade, me and my friends were obsessed with it and we would always go on it just to kill time. So once she said Stumble Upon, I went back to 9th grade me and I was like, oh my god, I forgot all about that. She's talking about Smosh, she's talking about the YouTubers that she met when she first started, and I just recognize everyone and it is like a blast from the past. So I'm excited to read more because the next section she's talking about my collab, and that is the collab channel that I found her on, and I still follow a lot of those creators, including Jonah Green. He's one of my favorites and I'll link him down below. He has great videos and I love that guy so much. I am liking this, but the rating is just not good, but it's from 2015, so what do you really expect? Jen is actually from my state, and I actually am 9 miles away from her hometown, and she talks about a lot of places that I recognize, and this is just so nostalgic for many reasons. She just recounts her time on YouTube and her growth in the beginning, because she started when she was like 12 or 13 years old, and I have been watching her since then because I was around the same age, and me and my siblings would watch her and watch their collab channel and O2L. Like, I really grew up in that era of YouTube, and this is just so nostalgic. Since I last updated, I've only read about 6 or 7 more pages, but I want to talk about what I've read because the nostalgia is hitting me hard. I am fanboying over this book just because it is bringing me back to my childhood, and I have been watching YouTube since 2009. I'm getting some dates of when her collab channel started, and it is just making me reflect on the growth of YouTube. Like, YouTube started with music videos and collab channels, and I just got to the part in the book called Top 10 Tips for Asking Someone to Collab, and number 1 is join a collab channel, and it says to search collab auditions and you'll find a ton of opportunities. I actually was on a collab channel. I don't think it's around anymore, so I won't share it or anything, just for my own privacy, so I can check that off of my YouTube bucket list. She mentions that my collab started in mid-November of 2009. I was in 9th grade at that point, so I've been watching YouTube for over a decade, and she brings up so many names that I know. There's a lot of creators who I still follow from these days, including Jonah Green, who I already mentioned, and also she mentions O2L, and she even has a screenshot of her channel, and this is what YouTube looked like back in the day. I think it's safe to say that this is a history book. Here are all the people that were in my collab with her, and I remember every single person. I have 10 pages left of Jen's book, and I've never been so excited to finish a book in my life. This is so cringe and poorly formatted. I'm gonna finish the rest of the book and then I'll let you know my thoughts. There are no run-on sentences, but it feels like there are because the text is all the way out to the margins. As you're reading, you're interrupted by a top 10 list, and so I'm reading a sentence and then I'm cut off by a top 10 list. So I'll get invested in a chapter and then turn to the next page to see top 10 best moments from VidCon 2012 and 2013. I liked the incorporation of the top 10 lists because that is what Jen is most known for, and that is kind of what started her channel a little bit. If they would have been at the end of the chapter, I would have enjoyed that, but as I'm reading and then it is just the top 10 list, then I have to remember what I was just reading. I was so annoyed by that because then I'm kind of sucked out of what I was reading, and then I have to kind of read a new thing and read the top 10s, which I just skimmed over because I didn't really care for most of them, but I think that it is just the demographic. If I read this in 2015, I probably would have a way different perspective. So I didn't hate Jen's book. I thought it was cool, and I did get a lot of nostalgia because I had been growing up with her since her channel started, and I really liked seeing the pictures of old YouTube. And so I think that if you like her, you should read this book, but the formatting was so bad and I did not like that part of the book at all. But that is my first YouTuber book, and now I am going to read hopefully a better one. Next, I am going to read Sorted by Jackson Bird. I'm very excited for this, so I will talk to you once I start reading. Hello friends, let's talk about Sorted. I think I'm gonna DNF it for the time being. I got 37 pages in, and because I got triggered, I just didn't want to continue. I thought that the mentions of Harry Potter would be the most triggering for me, but the puberty scenes were really triggering and just super detailed, and that is just not something I like to read about. It is personally something that triggers me when I'm reading, and that is why I don't pick up a lot of trans memoirs because of that. This is the second trans memoir that I've had to DNF because the puberty scenes are just way too triggering for me. I kind of wish that there was more of a content warning for that. The only things that he does mention are that this book will discuss dysphoria, sexuality, and body image at length. There are also brief mentions of sexual harassment, mental illness, substance use, and suicide. There is nothing too graphic or intense. I would disagree. That scene was way too intense for me to reading, very graphic. I did not want that. I have a very visual memory, so I tend to visualize a lot of scenarios. And so when I'm reading, I'm just visualizing everything. And even the parts that I don't want to visualize, I just do it anyway. And I can't control it. So for now, I'm just going to DNF it until I have a clearer head. I think I can definitely read this down the line, but right now I just can't do that. I hated that. I just hated that so much. It was the worst. I'm not saying anything bad about the book. I'll link some of my friends' reviews down below. I know Audrey really loves this book, and so do a lot of my other friends who recommended it to me, but I just cannot read books that talk about puberty. It's way too triggering for me, so I'm just going to DNF it for now. You already know what's up. The last book is Don't Try This at Home by Kian Lawley and JC Kalen, two of my very favorite YouTubers. I have been watching K&J since O2L. O2L started in 2010. And I've been wanting to read the K&J book. I never have. As a longtime fan of them, I am always very critical, and I do acknowledge a lot of the things that they have done. But I also appreciate the growth that they've been through. I will always have a very special spot for them just because I found Corey through them. So I knew I had to read the K&J book in this video. I'm interested to see what it's like. What's up? I finished the K&J book in like 1 or 2 days. It was very quick. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was very nostalgic. I'm not really going to give it much of a rating because I don't know how. I struggle with reviewing nonfiction books because I just don't know. Jen's book was an exception because it was just poorly organized, but the K&J book was really fun. It was very colorful. They actually say that they're professional dumbasses, and actually I think that that is the perfect way to describe their channel. They're definitely not for everyone, but I've grown up with them since 2012, so I have a special spot for them. So I was able to relive some of the things that I remember, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. Now I'm currently reading The Amazing Book Is Not on Fire by Dan and Phil, and all I have to say is that I did not need to know from both of their mothers what their birth was like. I think I could have lived my life without knowing that information. Now I'm at this interesting part. I will say that it does read like them. Like, I can read it in their voices. It definitely feels like them. Some of it is just a little too much for me. I think I'm going to read the Dan and Phil books while I read Dan's book. So I'm going to read You Will Get Through This Night, and I'll also read the Dan and Phil books that I have. I also have Dan and Phil Go Outside. I got a couple of these from the library. I wanted to read this book ever since I saw the video where Phil gave Dan a haircut, and Phil just talks about how proud he is of Dan, and they were talking about the book, and I'm very excited. I am not that big of a Dan and Phil fan. Like, I do like them a lot, but I'm not a stan. Let's talk about Dan's book. I got 78 pages in. And basically, this is a mental health guide. So I actually have it due at the library, but we actually got a family copy of it. And so I am going to actually use this as a guide. I have anxiety. And so there's exercises in the book, and I don't think it's a book that you need to read all the way through. It's definitely a book that you can take your time with. So I think that is what I'm going to do with it, because I need to really go through the exercises and stuff, but I have been actually doing some of them and they've been helping me. I really like that he included some exercises for when you're having intrusive thoughts. There was just a lot of emphasis on senses, which I really enjoyed. In the book, he actually talks about how you don't have to read it front to back. You can really just pick which exercises are suited for you and what you need at the moment. And I really enjoy that. So what I'm going to do moving forward is that, and I'm going to practice some of the exercises and let you know which ones actually worked for me and which ones I didn't like or just think that I need more practice with. So that will probably be coming in the next clip, and then I'll wrap up this video. Hello. I am trying to wrap up the videos that I have just not touched, basically, just haven't finished. So here is the ending of this video where I attempt to read YouTubers' books. Let me know if you would like to see another video like this by giving this video a thumbs up. I would love to do a part 2 of this. I had fun. Let's talk about Dan's book before I wrap up this video. I will admit that I did not finish that book, and that is just because it's not a book that you can just read all the way through. It's more of like a mental health guide, so I did actually try some of the things. When you're using a coping mechanism, it's going to take practice. I can't just do it once and then be like, oh, it just doesn't work, because that's just not how it is. But I think if you're looking into it, I would highly recommend it. I really enjoy what the purpose is of it, and I will have another review down below. Like, if there are actual reviews of the books, I know that Elise from The Petite Punk, I believe that she has a review, so if I can find it, I'll link it down below. But that is it for my first episode of reading YouTubers' books. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you haven't. I am trying to hit 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you enjoy this video, share it with your friends, share it online, and let me know you liked it down below. And if you have read any of these books, let me know. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video very soon. Bye.